Mishaps are unavoidable. Even in Hollywood, extra steps are taken to ensure everyone's safety on the set, mainly if the scene includes any dangerous stunts, due to adverse happenings on set, such as vehicle pursuit sequences or fight scenes that did not go as planned. Though, if they were or not, we'll have to wait and see. Here's a rundown of some of the incidents that occurred on site despite excellent safety precautions. First, Tom Cruise broke his ankle during filming Fallout, yet he just kept going. Tom Cruise is famous for performing his stunts in films like the Mission Impossible series, including the big halo leap in Mission Impossible Fallout, so it's no surprise he's injured himself a few times. In truth, Cruise shattered his ankle on the side of a building while filming a very easy stunt in Fallout in which he leaps from one rooftop to another during a foot chase. With one exception, the prank went just as planned. The Cruise was meant to contact the wall and pull himself up, but his foot got stuck against it. I knew instantly that my ankle was fractured, and I didn't want to do it again, so I simply got up and continued with the take, Cruise explained. In the picture, he pushes himself up against the wall and continues running with merely a limp to indicate a fractured ankle. Moving on, at number 2, in Django Unchained, Leonardo DiCaprio injured his hand and kept rolling. The wicked Calvin Candie, Leonardo DiCaprio, throws his fist down on a table to stress a point in Quentin Tarantino's revisionist western Django Unchained, breaking a cordial crystal glass in the process. On the other hand, Candie doesn't hesitate before picking pieces of glass out of his palm with an eerie calm. The screenplay called for Candie to smack the table, but he wasn't intended to harm his hand. While filming, DiCaprio accidentally broke the glass, but he didn't break character, and the moments in which he picks fragments from his palm and wipes them on actor Kerry Washington are improvised. Tarantino isn't afraid of a bit severe method acting, and he preserved the scene in the final cut. Following that, at number 3, a stunt woman nearly died while filming the Back to the Future Part 2 hoverboard scene. Back to the Future Part 2's most treasured sequence came at a high cost, when Biff, Thomas F. Wilson, and his crew follow Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox, on hoverboards. Some smashed through the clock tower's windows. The stunt was supposed to be simple. The performers would swing on wires to generate momentum, then smash through the candy glass windows while a member of the effects team released their wires and dropped them safely onto airbags hidden inside the tower. But it proved to be unexpectedly difficult. Because of how risky the scenario grew, one stunt performer left, and she was replaced by relative newbie and women's kickboxing champion Cheryl Wheeler-Dixon. Wheeler-Dixon did not go through the glass as planned while recording the stunt. Instead, she collided with a pillar and was outside when a crew member severed her line, sending her to fall 20 feet onto concrete. Gary Morgan, another member of the stunt crew, subsequently described the incident, saying, "I got up, and Cheryl was laying on the concrete, and the pool of blood near her head was becoming wider." Wheeler needed reconstructive surgery after the accident, including metal plates in her face. It also led to her suing the studio. The sequence, complete with Wheeler-Dixon slamming into the pillar, was included in the film. Next up, at number 4, during the filming of The Wizard of Oz, Margaret Hamilton's hands were burned. Margaret Hamilton, who played the notorious Wicked Witch of the West in the original Wizard of Oz, suffered terrible burns on her face and right hand while filming, putting her out of commission for 6 weeks. She even had to wear a green glove for a few sequences since her skin was too sensitive for makeup. The catastrophe occurred during the witch's spectacular early exit, where she disappeared from Munchkinland in a cloud of smoke and fireworks. Hamilton was meant to leave the scene by a well-set trapdoor, but the door malfunctioned, and she wound up face-to-face with the flames. When she was eventually well enough to return, director Victor Fleming informed her, "We have the film in your absence," and it was a wonderful picture. Moving on, at number 5, in Patriot Games, Sean Bean received a scar from Harrison Ford. Sean Bean is known to meet his doom frequently in cinema and television. Bean's role as the antagonist opposite Harrison Ford in 1992's Patriot Games catapulted him to stardom. Ford whacked Bean in the face with a boat hook during the climax sequence of Patriot Games, in which Bean's and Ford's characters battle on a runway speedboat. The impact injured Bean, and the cut he sustained is depicted in the finished film. It also left a visible scar on him. Bean frequently portrays tough guys and villains and doesn't mind the scar. It's in the appropriate position, he informed a reporter. Next up, at number 6, Jackie Chan broke his ankle in Rumble in the Bronx, so he filmed with the cast covering it. Jackie Chan is well known for completing his stunts, and as a result, he has injured himself countless times. During the production of Rumble in the Bronx, one of his most dramatic botched stunts was recorded on video and included in the final cut. Chan fractured his ankle while filming a scene where he leaps from a bridge into a hovercraft. In an interview with Conan O'Brien, Chan recounted the incident, saying, "I hear a very distinct sound from my leg. Snap!" Not one to be stopped by an injury, Chan not only made sure that they got that shot, but he also filmed the rest of the movie with a special cover painted to appear like a shoe over his cast. Moving on, on at number 7. In The Hangover Part 2, a stuntman suffered a severe brain injury. Stu, Ed Helms, put his head out the car window during the high-speed automobile pursuit through the streets of Bangkok in The Hangover Part 2. The maneuver should have been straightforward, but the driver didn't swerve in time, and Helms' stunt double, Scott McLean, was hit by a truck. McLean also appeared in The Matrix and 2 Star Wars prequels, and suffered severe brain damage. McLean was in a coma for several weeks after the tragedy, and doctors were skeptical that he would ever walk or talk again. He could finally walk and talk again, but his injuries left him permanently crippled and ended his stunt career prematurely. The pictures leading up to the accident were not only featured in the final edit, but also in the trailer, which irritated McLean's family. Following that, at number 8, in Apocalypse Now, Martin Sheen improvised the shattered mirror. Behind-the-scenes extravagances in Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now became so legendary that they inspired their documentary film Hearts of Darkness. The documentary reveals that Martin Sheen's Captain Willard's breakdown in a Saigon hotel room was mainly improvised. It was Sheen's 36th birthday, and he admitted to being so drunk that he couldn't practically stand up. When Sheen, as Willard, sees his image in the mirror, he smashes the glass, cutting his hand and spreading it all over his face. That moment was real in every way. Francis claimed his instinct was to cut the scene and summon the nurse, but Marty was doing the scene, Coppola's wife said in her biography, Notes on a Life. Next up, at number 9, Ellen Burstyn injured her spine while filming The Exorcist. Making a film like The Exorcist is likely to be stressful. Sets were chilled to sub-zero temperatures. Actors have yanked around on wires, and the nozzle for the notorious throw-up sequence misfired, splashing actor Jason Miller in the face, a preserved scene in the film. Although getting blasted in the face with pea soup is unpleasant, it pales compared to what occurred to Ellen Burstyn, who portrayed Linda Blair's possessed Regan McNeil. Regan smashes her mother into the floor in one moment. Burstyn was attached to a wire, and someone on the other side was meant to drag her to the ground. I know it needs to appear authentic, but I'm telling you, I might be harmed, Burstyn said of the incident to Huffington Post. She had a chronic spine injury when the wire worker smashed her into the floor. And finally, at number 10, during the filming of First Blood, Sylvester Stallone broke a rib. It may be no surprise that a few mishaps happened while making the many Rambo films in a franchise that is fairly synonymous with brutal violence. Sylvester Stallone cracked a rib while filming the first episode of the series, when he chose to conduct his stunts for a part of a sequence in which John Rambo leaps from a cliff and utilizes tree branches to soften his fall. He was limited to the hospital, but because the scene was shot early in the schedule, he had to execute the rest of the film with a broken rib. He couldn't even tape it up to boost his comfort due to his character's costumes. On the DVD commentary track, Stallone noted, "It was quite easy to play out the anguish. The fall was filmed in 2 takes, with the one in which Stallone shattered his rib making it into the final cut. The director requested the 3rd take, but Stallone refused after breaking a rib." Well, that marks the end of our video for today. We hope you enjoyed it. On your way out, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.